Will the newest card to hit Marvel Snap hit his mark, or will he miss the target? Find out what's going on as I hereby invite everyone to join me on my adventures through Marvel Snap. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. So, we're back from the book, yeah! And since we're back from the book and I can do content again, we are just gonna dive right into the newest card to come out of Marvel Snap this week. The newest card that we are getting out of Marvel Snap this week is Bullseye. Bullseye grew up in the Bronx, where he lived with his brother and their abusive father. He became an expert shot by playing with rifles. When his brother tried to kill their father by setting their house on fire, he was shortly placed in a foster home, where he bounced from foster home to foster home until he reached high school, where he became an extremely talented pitcher, and he was offered a scholarship for a full ride in college. But when a minor league team offered him a career, he took that shot instead. But after 3 games, a batter mocked him for how cowardly he pitched, and he threw a ball at his head, killing him and sending him on the run. Bullseye's unique skills led him to be recruited by the National Security Agency as an assassin, but by the time they had trained him, he was already planning to leave them. Seeking to gain credibility, he challenged Daredevil on live television to establish his reputation as a rogue, but he was soundly defeated. Met with this failure, the despair and humiliation caused him to have a mental breakdown, and he began to kill everyone as he saw each and every person that he met as the appearance of Daredevil. Bullseye's mental breakdown turned out to be a brain tumor, and once it was removed, he decided to obtain a costume and take the recruitment offer that he was given by the Dark Avengers, where he became the most dangerous hitman in a world full of deadly costume assassins. He is a man you turn to when you absolutely need a job done and do not care who is collateral damage. As one of the best marksmen alive, he seldomly misses his target, and no job is too difficult, too dangerous, or too downright evil for this immoral killer. Bullseye is a violent, unhinged, vengeful, insecure, ruthless, and nearly irredeemable individual. Due to suffering from a borderline personality disorder, he struggles with serious issues of abandonment, and this heavily causes him to be prone to fits of rage. His antisocial behavior makes him unable to properly empathize with anybody and feel empathy with anyone. He feels no remorse for his wrongdoings, and this makes him incapable of love. He will only be with someone for as long as it takes care of his own selfish needs or desires. Bullseye has the ability to throw virtually any object as a projectile with incredible accuracy and with enough force to be lethal. Aside from his ability to throw projectiles with lethal accuracy, he is also skilled when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, and he has been trained in karate. He is an extremely talented user of guns, rifles, and any other weapon that he can get his hands on. He has exceptional physical conditioning with agility, reflexes, stamina, and speed of a professional athlete, and a high pain tolerance. Bullseye is a deadly hitman with no need for those who are weak, who is capable of activating practically any object as a projectile weapon with flawless accuracy. This is represented in Marvel Snap, as once he's out on your side, you can convince him to take all your weak cards and activate them into accurately hitting each enemy once until he is out of enemies or ammo. Doing Marvel Snap, what this character does is he's a 3 cost, 3 power. With the activate ability, which means it has to be out on your side of the field for 1 turn before you can trigger this. It has to be face out. And once you activate him, he'll take the cards from your hand, only the cards that are 1 cost or less, so 1, 0, or anything with a negative number, or the cost, not the power, the cost. And he will take each card, 1 card at a time, and he will throw it at an enemy. And each time he does, he'll pick a different enemy. And once he's out of enemies, he'll stop throwing cards. Or if he runs out of ammo, he'll stop throwing cards. And for each one that he hits, he'll be afflicted with -2 power. Now, in my opinion, this card is not good in any way, shape, or form. I tried to really want to give this card something good, especially with it being the card that I came back on. But I gotta be honest with this card, and it is not good. I would give it a 1 star, and I never like giving anything a 1 star. So, first of all, we gotta talk about the big canary in the room. The other card hooker, which is Gambit. If Bullseye had existed for the longest time, and Gambit was now the card that was coming out, you would basically call Gambit a power creep on Bullseye. To a certain degree, Gambit and Bullseye should have their powers flip-flopped if you want to talk accuracy-wise. Gambit was never trying to destroy people with his cards, was never trying to kill people with his cards, well, Bullseye definitely is. But beyond accuracy point, of more accuracy. One of the biggest flaws that you have with Bullseye is you have such a limited pool to grab stuff off of. So let's take somebody who you would normally throw on a deck like this, which would be Swarm. You can't discard Swarm off of Bullseye. You can discard his fly form when you make him down to a 0. But the original Swarm you can't get rid of. So if you're even trying to put Swarm in your deck, you need a second activator for the Swarm to make it so that you can use it with the Bullseye. So the problem is you're looking at 1 cost cards, and the only card that really works off of the multiple pulls, or the only card you really want to keep in your hand and have discarded multiple times, is going to be something like Scorn, which is something good, because this is one of the few cards that helps that Scorn, and you can get multiple pulls with Scorn on and not be worried about it. It's so hard to pull Scorn because Scorn goes up in power every time she's pulled. And many things in a discard deck want to pull off the power side, not off the cost side. Another card that you might be interested in is if you're putting in the Dokken in your deck. Not so much for the card itself, but for the blade. It's so hard to get rid of the blade a lot of times. This way you can trigger the blade and get rid of it without really needing to go through many weird steps. So there are things that work on it. The problem is, you're again going with the Afflict ability. And the Afflict ability is such a hard ability to make work at times. It's not killing the card, it's not destroying the card. Like, again, in the same situation, if you're going with Gambit, it would destroy the card. And what's really important to remember is, if your opponent only has like one big card, like Orca on their side of the field, and another big card in another lane, even if you have a handful of 1-drops, the Bullseye is only going to take 2 cards out of your hand and throw them at the opponent. Then they're done. Once you're out of enemies to hit, you will not throw away any more cards. Which makes it hard for things like Morbius, if you're planning on something like Morbius. The other problem that we always got to talk about every time that we talk about a Afflict card, a negative card in any way, shape, or form, is Luke Cage. Luke Cage basically says no to whatever this card does. Where it doesn't affect Gambit. Gambit could care less about Luke Cage. It cares about armor, but it doesn't care about Luke Cage. The other problem is it's kind of hard to get Hella to work off this. Hella is not looking for low-cost art. Sometimes it has some low-power cards because of the new version that you can run with for the God Butcher. It's not looking for low-cost cards. One of the other problems that you have is because you gotta throw away one-cost cards, you've got to find a card that's actually worth less on the field than thrown away. And let's just take Howard the Duck, for example. Okay, I'm playing Howard the Duck because Howard the Duck's a low value card. Is Howard the Duck worth taking -2 off your opponent when if you have the chance to play him down, he'll give you the +2 power from just existing on the board, plus he'll give you the ongoing effect that he has on him. And that's the problem that you run into this at times. The other problem is every time we talk about an activate card, every single time we talk about an activate card, you have to remember how activate works and the fact that it biffs your 6th turn, assuming you don't have limbo. So, this card cannot be played on 6. The last turn you can really play this card is on 5. So, the first turn you can play this card is on 2, and the last turn you can play this on 5, so it gets 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which gives it a tight window that you gotta pull it on. And when you look at it as a power spike, it's not that great of a power spike. You're looking at a 3-3, which is not great. The only reason the Gambit gets away with it is because it's automatically destroying one of your opponent's cards. If you're taking out your opponent's card, a general card, you're looking at about, say, 4 or 5 power. So let's just say 5, for example. This makes Gambit a 3-8. To get Luke, to get a Bullseye to hit 8, you have to get rid of 4 cards. Just to take out something that's doing the same as Gambit, if you figure 5 is a general power spike, you have to get rid of 3 cards to equal that same power as Gambit hitting 1 5-cost card. 1 5 power card, I should say. And are you going to have 3 cards in your hand that are all 1-drops or less that you want to get rid of, for lack of a better word? The other problem is because it is an activate card, it gets the plus and minus of not being negated by anything like Long or Cosmo or Armor or anything else like that. But it also doesn't get the plus of being able to get a second trigger off a Long or Cosmo or any location right now. And I'm not sure if this will be true in the future. There is no location that works off activate cards. There's no location that says, like, reactivate your cards or your activates hit twice. Now, somewhere in the future, could that happen? Sure. Could there be a card that comes out in the future that's a second Scorn, or the whole idea is to discard it? Sure. But I can't, in good faith, judge a card on where it can be 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, a year from now. I gotta judge it where it is at this particular moment. And where Bullseye is at this particular moment is not great. I don't know what deck you're throwing him into, because every deck I can think about with him, you either have to play the Gambit with it, or Gambit's a better option for you. Alright, other than Bullseye this week, we've got Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy is one of the better cards for anybody who cares about playing 1-drops. It is such an engine for anybody who plays one-drop cards. And the other card that we have, Kyra. Kyra is pretty much the thing that makes one-drops possible to play. Because it's one of the few things that basically stops you from losing each and every single game that you ever play against Killmonger. Because I don't know if it's just you, I don't know if it's just me. I might just have the weirdest luck in the world, but every time I start to play a deck that runs 4 one-drops, 5 one-drops, I face against Killmonger like 16 turns in a row somehow, some way. And this is one of the few cards that just says, I don't care if you have Killmonger, just go for it. So, for this particular week, if you like one-drops, you're looking at the Kyra and the Marvel Boy, and not so much the Bullseye. I mean, the Bullseye at that particular point is just a out in case somehow you weren't able to play all your one-drops by the end of it, and you're just playing a flood deck. But good luck on that. Alright, we're still gonna roll because that's how we make content, so let's find out what's inside the box. Boxes. Kyra. Awesome. So I'm gonna make a simple Kyra deck. Hopefully this Friday. If you want to watch me do that, I'll be doing that on Twitch TV. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, remember, play, oh, Lord.